The sparkle of fire is the witness of your worth. The silent Florence of the water is the witness of your softness. The rising of the sun and the sunset in the west is the witness of your rhythm. The rhythmic movement of the moon is the witness of your perfection. My words, my souls, are the witness to the oneness of the glory of the Lord, and the glorification cannot be described in words. Good morning to all the dignitaries, guests, delegates, teachers, and students. With great joy and immense exhilaration, I, Akash Deshmukh, feel privileged to extend my warm greetings to everyone on the behalf of Thakur College of Science and Commerce on one day International Multidisciplinary E-Conference on Innovation and Sustainability, Revitalizing Business Practices through Quality Assurance and Inclusivity. This conference is organized by Department of Commerce and IQAC of Thakur College in association with NAC and ICSR. Today, for the inaugural function, we have a wonderful list of dignitaries joining us. We have Dr. Leena Gahane, Deputy Advisor NAC as the chief guest of the session, Ms. Meena Shenoy, Founder Youth for Jobs as the guest of honor, as well as in attendance, we have the principal of the host institution, Dr. Mr. C.D. Chakrabarti, who is also the chairperson of the conference, Dr. Nishikant Jha, Vice Principal, Degree Commerce, Dr. Vijay Jadhav, Dean, Degree Science, and Dr. Parul Singhal, Dean, Degree Commerce, as well as the convener of the conference. I, on behalf of the organizing committee, hope and wish that you have an enterprising day ahead. We look forward to your active participation through various online platforms and contribute towards the success of the event. Light symbolizes brightness and prosperity. It removes the forces of darkness and gives us positivity. In spiritual world, light means life. So, we can also think that the light is the guide which can lead us to a new path. With this noble thought, let's start this event with lighting of the lamp in front of Goddess Saraswati, who is the goddess of learning, wisdom, music, and aesthetics. I request our principal ma'am, vice principal sir, and the deans to light the lamp. May the divine power bless us all.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Gananam Tva Ganapati Gum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Shunvannuti Bisida Satanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebirvajinivati Dinama Vitrayavatu Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswate Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. Now, the person who has consumed herself to change the society and light the lamp of education in the darkness in the life of all the learners, Principal of Thakur College of Science and Commerce, Dr. C.D. Chakrabarti. I request ma'am to address the gathering and give her opening remarks.
Good morning to all, and thank you, Akash, for taking the session in a wonderful way. In the words of Swami Vivekanand, as different streams having different sources all mingle their waters in the sea, so different tendencies, various thought they appear, crooked or straight, all lead to God. Truth can be stated in 1,000 different ways, yet each one can be true. Truth is eternal. Knowledge helps us to seek the truth. Confluence of knowledge from different streams catalyzes the forward march. At a time when we are slowly leaving behind a crisis, knowledge is our torchbearer. I welcome our chief guest, Dr. Leena Gahane, chief guest of honor, Ms. Meera Shenoy, my vice principals, deans, teachers, students, are people who are presenting the research papers, audience. Without you, the program cannot take off. Presently, hybridity is ushering in a new paradigm shift. All sectors are excited to announce their ideas. Portals are opening and inviting us to a new world order. The surgeon has started. Science, technology, humanities, commerce, and social psychometrics are catapulting us to exploring newer ideas and visions. At this moment, the Department of Commerce and IQAC of Thakur College of Science and Commerce, in association with NAC and ICSSR, are hosting an international e-conference on innovation and sustainability, revitalizing business practices through quality assurance and inclusivity. Our college, Thakur College of Science and Commerce, has been standing firm since 1992, where we started with the junior college with only 47 students and degree college in 1997. Today, we have 14,444 students in our campus with about 24 courses. Thakur College of Science and Commerce is a hub of learning, opportunities, and self-exploration. Its very varied activities and platform to groom future leaders have been recognized with various awards and accolades. NAC with A grade, Best College Award by University of Mumbai in the year 1819, and very recently, on 13 February 21, we received the Pride of Maharashtra Award in the hands of Honorable Governor of Maharashtra. So we are thankful for all to recognize us. This 25 years of glory have been promoting academic excellence and responsible individuals of tomorrow. The college has been a melting point of promoting academic, co-curricular and extracurricular activities for students and teachers. The college has been a host to various national and international symposium on various themes starting from science, commerce, management, and humanities. This conference on innovation and sustainability is the cornerstone to the discussion on work, business, quality, and sustainability in future. We look forward to sharing our own powerhouse of knowledge and assimilate the contribution from all our invitees. The conference has received 160 research papers which have been screened by eminent academicians, research scholars, and students from national and international level. I give my best wishes and hope it achieves its objective of enriched minds and forward thinking. I am also thankful to NAC and ICSSR for promoting our program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for always being the torchbearer to define new standards and being an inspiration to consistently work towards excellence. This event is an outcome of your relentless commitment in redefining education standards and persistent motivation you give it to us. A conference is a formal consultation, discussion, deliberation, instruction, and exchange of opinions, experiences, and knowledge. And for today's conference, we have expert panels, technical sessions, everything lined up for you. But to give us an insight into what went into the framework of this conference, the theme of the conference, we have our convener of the conference, Dr. Parul Singhal, addressing all of us to give an insight about the conference. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Akash. A very good morning to everybody present on the virtual dais. Chief guest of the day, Ms. Leena Gahane. Guest of honor, Meera ma'am. Principal ma'am, vice principals, dean, fellow faculty members, academicians who have joined from across the country, and my dear students. I am also delighted to welcome the members of the advisory committee, peer review committee, invited speakers for the plenary session, chairpersons of the technical session, scheduled later of the day of the conference. In the words of Edward Deming, in his book, Out of Crisis, he said, "It is not enough to do your best. You must know what to do and then do your best." Over the last 40 years, this journey to do and to be the best has redefined the way we study and perceive the idea of quality control in management. It is on this ground the iota of this conference was laid, and here we are, welcoming all the participants and associates on the one-day multidisciplinary international e-conference on innovation and sustainability, revitalizing business practices through quality assurance and inclusivity. Organized by Department of Commerce and IQAC of Thakur College of Science and Commerce in association with NAC and ICSSR. This international conference is designed to promote a fresh dialogue in discussing the changes which are seen in the domains of commerce and management. And it also acknowledges the need to anatomize the issues associated with innovation and sustainability. In the present scenario, there is a need to confront and succeed with the challenges around us. Therefore, it calls for a progressive, sustainable, innovation-driven, technology-empowered powerhouse that leads the world into a better future. With India's recent ranking as 46th on the Global Innovation Index, 62nd on the Inclusive Index, and 120th on the Sustainable Development Index, there is a long way to this discourse. On this conference, the conference calls for all the academic stakeholders to deliberate and discuss issues concerning innovations and sustainability in the business based on sustainable development goals. For this conference, we are very happy to associate with the two most prominent institutions in the country, that is NAC and ICSSR, to ideate. And we are very happy to report that we have got around 160 research papers which have been screened by our esteemed peer members, and they will be going in for peer-reviewed journal and UGC Carelistic journals. With exemplary panel of speakers from domestic and international domains, this conference tries to confluence diverse opinions, experiences, and learnings to the table. For the technical sessions, we have 8 tracks today. We look forward to an enriching, academically filled day. Let's team up together for a better future for you and for me and for the entire universe. Thank you. Now I call upon Mr. Deepak Tiwari to please introduce the guest of honor for the day, Ms. Meera Shenoy.
Thank you so much, Dr. Parul Singhal, the convener of the conference. And I once again welcome all the delegates, all the participants, and all our guests for this international conference. Friends, it is my profound privilege to introduce Meera Shenoy, the guest of honor for the day, and who is also the founder of Youth for Jobs. But you know, she has a long list of achievements. I'm just summarizing them. So after shifting from corporate world to the social sector, Meera Shenoy ma'am made 3 choices. The first one, to work with the underprivileged youth. The second one, to train them. And the third one, to focus on the rural areas of India. And for the last 17 years, she has remained focused on this task and this mission. She has impacted so many lives of rural and tribal youth of India. She has also led India's first government skiing mission, with now as a social entrepreneur, she has scaled up a replicable model for non-disabled and youth with disabilities. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome, आप जहां भी बैठे हो, with a huge round of applause, Miss Meera Shenoy, the chief guest for the guest of honor for the day. And ma'am, over to you. Kindly enlighten us with your knowledge, your wisdom, and show us a path so that ये जो दिव्यांग हैं, हम उन्हें मुख्य धारा में कैसे ला सकते हैं? थैंक यू सो मच मैम, ओवर टू यू.
Dr. Leena, eminent delegates who are over here, I'm so happy to be in your midst. Actually, it's such a welcome to see a lighting of the lamp because in all these virtual events, people forget to light the lamp, you know. So I was so delighted to see it. Of course, I'm delighted to be here because we do so many. Our largest inclusion event is held with the University of Bombay. And there's a third reason why I'm so happy. I heard Parul quoting Swami Vivekananda. Our Calcutta Center for Youth with Disabilities is located in the Ramakrishna Mission at Narendrapur. And every time I go there to speak, the head Swamiji says, Meera, if Swami Vivekananda was alive, I'm sure he's hearing from the top, Youth for Jobs work will be showered with his blessings, because this is what mission-driven organizations should do. So with that, let me just begin the talk on inclusive practices in business. Quality and inclusion is important, but because I've dedicated my life to inclusion, I thought, let me focus on that. Next, please. Sai, can you hear me? Next slide, please. After working
I'm already on next slide, ma'am. Okay. Yes.
After working with rural and tribal youth and linking them to jobs in a government mission, after working with the World Bank and the UN, I thought to myself that now the competencies which I've gained, I must work in a most vulnerable sector. So a lot of reflection, I chose the space of disability. I was really amazed to see that people in the country knew so little about disability. For example, they forget the icons who are there. Icons like Beethoven, the German composer, who produced his best music when he was tone deaf. He could not hear what he had composed. Or Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking, who's a physicist, talented in so many ways in Cambridge. Of course, now he doesn't exist. But when he came to India to modify his car, was a friend of mine. And my friend was saying that with his multiple disabilities, the pace at which he moves is actually quicker than you and me. So Cambridge, in fact, used to call him the most live among all the academicians. Next, please. Sayu, you have to move it a little quicker. Closer home to you, I don't know, all of you see films. So I don't know how many of you know that Hrithik Roshan actually had a stammering problem, which is a disability. So he says quite often that how he used to practice before a mirror and how he got his stammer out. Or Saif Ali Khan's father, the Nawab of Patodi, who had lost one eye, it was a glass eye, and yet he was the captain of India. So I think quite often we forget that there's ability in disability, and therefore the problem is very complex. Next, please. The problem is also complex if you look at the data. India has something like 50 to 60 million youth with disabilities. Their education level is low, so therefore their employment level, they say barely 30% are there. So they're either underemployed or unemployed. Most of them live in rural areas, and therefore they remain in the vicious cycle of poverty. So I was thinking, is it possible for us to work in this difficult segment, which is so important for India, and to take them from the vicious cycle of poverty to the virtuous cycle of opportunity through education and employment? That's the vision which we set for ourselves. But 10 years before, that's when I started this organization, there were lots and lots of challenges. We decided that we'll start first with what Bharat needs most, which is youth with disabilities who come from villages who have little education. And it was so difficult. We went to the villages, we would find youth, we couldn't find youth with disabilities. If we found them, their parents didn't believe us that we could give them jobs. We couldn't find the special educators because the best of them had gone abroad. Companies came because they knew me, so they came to our first training center. But they told me, ma'am, can you give us some of the earlier youth, meaning youth without disabilities? And then we realized that we really have a Herculean challenge before us. Today, 10 years later, when we look, we've really traversed a lot of ground and have some solutions on this journey. Next, please. We have moved from being just a skilling organization to a system changer. What do we do? Next slide, Sai. What do we do? First, we change mindsets of people. We change mindsets of companies, communities. Sai, can you move the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
It is
Ma'am,
not...
1 minute, ma'am. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Just 1 minute, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. Is this a slide? Because I'm getting stuck.
The next.
I'm sorry. The next slide, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah.
This one, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
So we change the mindsets of communities, companies, and colleges. And I'll tell you what we do in colleges. We work on accessibility issues in infrastructure. That means in the large companies which have large campuses, we make sure that the youth with disabilities can get in easily. Likewise in colleges, in workplace and technology. We also do skilling programs, both for the less educated and the educated youth with disabilities, which finally leads to jobs. Like you, knowledge we believe is very important. So we have a center of inclusion where we bring out 2 studies every year. It's always released by our secretary from Delhi to all the policy makers so that we can influence policy. And last but not the least, the most important now is technology. So we just launched our beta version of the country's first AI-driven accessible job platform for youth with disabilities. We have wonderful partners. We have IIT Hyderabad, who's supposed to be the best in computer science and AI as our partner, and the Prime Minister's Scientific Advisor's Office. So with this kind of partnership, we are building this platform, which we hope will be a platform for all the youth with disabilities who exist in the country to link them to livelihood. Next, please. In 10 years, this is what we look like. We've become the largest in South Asia. We have touched about 7.8 million households in villages. We are in 7 universities with all the colleges under them. Youth less educated program is pan-India. In fact, we have youth even from Jammu and Kashmir who enlist in our program. We work with about 910 companies, and we have our center of inclusion. So this is what we look like currently. Of course, in anything in India, the problem is so large. So we still are moving on in a very focused manner. Next, please. This is Carol. Carol was born without any disability. She looks like any one of us. By the time she was 10 years, first she lost a hearing, and second she began losing her vision. But she didn't let that deter her. Today she's a postgraduate. But what was depressing for her was that every time she interviewed for jobs, she couldn't get a job because people looked at her disability and not her ability. So she came to us We trained her, we coached her for interviews, and today she works at TVS Motors, Hosur. Currently, she's working from home as a costing executive, drawing about 3 lakhs, and she's tremendously got back all her confidence, which she had lost before. Next, please. This is Saran. He kept studying, thinking that every time he studies, he'll get a better job. So the last degree he did was an MBA. But despite that, whatever he did, he says he must have interviewed at least 45 times and he couldn't get a job. But he kept saying, I will not give up. Then he came to us. We took him through our trainings and we put him in Northern Trust, Bangalore. Again, he says, now I have a dream job and I can look forward. Next, please. So how do we do it? This is our college program. And in our college program, we have basically 3 academies. One is the IT Academy, where we teach IT skills, and then the youth are placed. The second is the banking, where we teach banking and various financial courses. And we have partnerships with all the major banks. And then all of them go through a finishing school. After this, we handhold them for the various levels of interviews, prepare them for the interviews. We work on sides of the companies to help the youth to be onboarded, especially if the youth can't speak, then we give our sign language instructors for that. Next, please. But we found that in colleges and higher education, this was not enough. The reason is that this government has passed a very progressive legislation. It's called the RPWD Act 2016. And one of the mandate is that all colleges and institutions, 5% of their seats should be for youth with disabilities. But the reality is in many states, it's not even 0.4%. So that's on one level. The second is that a lot of educators in colleges don't understand disabilities. So therefore, the youth is really not equipped enough for a job. So we said, okay, let's correct this. Let's work on the ecosystems of colleges and universities. So we set up what is called the Smart Inclusion Center, where my team does workshops for educators on various things to make them disability friendly. And these mostly are online. And we have educators actually from all over the world registering and joining these. There's a tremendous interest in inclusion now because people realize that this can be a new pool of students for colleges. Then, of course, we tell them about assistive technology. We bring companies to the campus. The college teachers go with us to the neighboring schools and they tell the children, don't drop out of your school. You must enroll in colleges because it's important for you to get a job. Our youth who are in jobs speak and inspire. And this, we hope, will get more youth with disabilities enrolled into the colleges, therefore making them more employable and companies will benefit in the future. Next, please. That Smart Inclusion Center has been winning several awards. The last award it won was the Zero Project at the UN headquarters. So as I also told you, we do a lot of inclusion fairs. In Mumbai, University of Mumbai has been our partners. These are some of our research reports. Next, please. We have been working. I thought now let me give you a glimpse since this conference is on business. Let me talk a little bit about the business. What we do is that we find that companies don't understand inclusion, companies don't understand disability. So if I go to a company and say, please hire this youth, the company asks me, oh, okay, so you tell me where should I hire, where should I place this youth? Some multinationals, of course, understand, but I'm saying by and large. So what we do is that we have a whole series of services which we give companies now, right from sensitization workshops to telling them which job, which youth can do, what is the kind of workplace adaptation. So a whole range of specialized services we give companies to help them to recruit these youth, and also to ensure that when these youth are hired by companies, it makes business sense. Because unless that happens, this cannot get mainstreamed. So just to give you 2-3 examples, I thought, all of you know Foxconn is the largest manufacturer of phones globally. They have 2 factories also over here. So the CEO, Josh, heard me at a conference, and Joshua said, oh, you know, we hire girls, but we've never hired disabled. Meera, do you think we can try? So my team went there, looked at the factory. We looked at which are the areas people who can't speak and talk, which are called speech and hearing impaired, can be placed. Uh, and then they measured the impact of our work. After measuring, if their initial target was 2% of the workforce should be people with disabilities, they increased it to 5, and currently they've increased it to 10%. Only because they find, for example, in COVID times, he was telling me, when most of the other girls did turn up for work, all the girls with disabilities turned up for work and helped their work and their assembly line to move on. So just purely because it benefits business, it's got mainstreamed into their operations. Next, please. These are the services which I talked to you about. We also help them to make their policies inclusive. Next, please. So this is, one side is a picture of Google, the other side is IKEA. So these are the sensitization workshops which we do there. And it's a lot of fun. I have a young team who really keeps them on their toe. For example, they're made to experience blindness, made to experience deafness. And then you realize if one ability of yours goes away, another ability works equally well. So for example, in Google, we started with the sensitization workshop, and then there were several things which happened. Finally, there was one of the largest hiring done. We have about 100 people working in the facilities over there. And it's very inspiring. Of course, it's extremely inspiring for our youth to work in Google, but it's equally inspiring for the company. The dance teacher was telling me that our girls who can't hear, she says that they dance to a tune which they cannot hear more gracefully than the others. And we have several examples. When their visitors come, all of them, when they see these youth, they say, you know, can we take a photo with them? So I think for the company, it helps its brand also to get improved. This is IKEA. As you know, IKEA is one of the largest one of the largest outlets are in Hyderabad. So we did the sensitization for the entire multinational team. Next, please. The other innovation, since this conference is about innovation, which we do is that constantly we are seeing which are the jobs which can be given to youth with disabilities. So for example, we thought, why can't the cashier's job be given to a youth with disabilities? After all, youth who can't hear and speak work in a very focused manner. So we went to all our retail partners and told them, but no one was willing to allow us to do this because cashiering is a very, very important job, and they all work on very small margins. Finally, in Chennai, one of the large retailer agreed, and we did a pilot with them. After the pilot, in 3 months, they did a consumer survey to ask consumers, what do you want? Do you want a speaking cashier, or do you want what we call a silent cashier? Do you know what? 97% of the consumers said they wanted a silent cashier who was much more efficient. And then there was no looking back. From a job for a cashier which was not available to a youth with disabilities, with that one pilot of ours, we opened up 50,000 jobs for the speech and hearing impaired as cashiers. Today, when you go to any of the outlets anywhere, you can find a cashier could be a speech and hearing impaired. Next, please. For Amazon, we are both the knowledge partner for India, and in many of the jobs, we are the sole hiring partner. So we put about 2,300 people with disabilities in Amazon, and we work very closely with them with a whole range of services. And now we are moving to the management positions also. Next, please. HSBC is an interesting story. When we began with them, we began with a mentoring program for our visually impaired in Delhi, where the HSBC senior employers would work to mentor these youth. Every year when this program is relaunched, I generally attend because the board and the others come. And it's amazing to hear, of course, our youth who are visually impaired benefit. But again and again and again, I hear the story of the company employers, what is the kind of benefit they are getting, how inspired they are, how they've learned not to grumble because they see this person with so many challenges. You know, he's able to work and he's struggling to do so many things, and how it's really improved and transformed their lives. So that in fact is scaled from a small Delhi model to a pan-India model. They volunteer with us, they hire from us. Now they are taking our services abroad. We've started with the first country, Malaysia, where we did a lot of our services to them. They are so happy now, they're taking it to other sites outside. They also sponsor, I have a small startup, and what it does is that it's for artists with disabilities who have severe disabilities. So they sponsor the award, which I do with the UN. Next, please. So this is just a glimpse of the companies we work with. It's across sectors. Next. So I think I've given all of you a glimpse of how we integrate and mainstream inclusion in companies and in businesses. But I must tell you, when I began this work, it really was not easy. Like, you know, whether you're a not-for-profit or a for-profit, the struggle is the same. So I was just wondering what I should do. Have I bitten off more than I can chew? Is working in the disability at scale really possible? So I thought one way to charge my own batteries was to write a book. So I traveled across the country and I wrote the book with Prasad Kaipa, who's in California. He used to come to ISB to teach the executive program. So I talked to CEOs who've been interacting with the disabilities. I talked to disabled entrepreneurs who are successful to charge my batteries. And this was the book. It was launched at the Jaipur Literary Festival. I was really lucky because before me, Karan Johar spoke. So he was going to speak on why is he gay. So there was a huge audience and all of them sat back to listen to me. And the book moved to the top of the charts at the Jaipur Literary Festival. It's got translated into Hindi so that the grassroots audience can read. Next, please. So what the book did was that it spoke about leaders like Niren. Niren's now abroad, but he used to be the president of KFC across Southeast Asia. So what he did was that he decided that when he grows his business, he's going to have some purpose in it. And he decided that he'll work for the cause of the speech and hearing impaired. So you will see that whenever you go, I don't know how many of you have seen this in a KFC, in the best of their locations, the restaurant will be run completely by the speech and hearing impaired, which means that if you want to order, if you want to speak, you'll have to get to understand them better. So what Niren told me was that these special, what they call the special KFCs, he said that the customer matrix is the highest. The business does the best. So he was telling me, tell me as a leader, why on earth would I not continue this integrating business with a sense of purpose, which for me is disability. Next, please. I also interviewed a lot of people with disabilities who were leading companies to understand what is it, how can I understand the space better? And this was Arvind. Arvind he was born without disabilities, but when he was on a picnic, I think in school, they had picnic on top of a hill. He thought that there was a path down, but he fell down the hill and broke his spine and permanently was on a wheelchair. With lots and lots of problems, having to undergo lots of surgeries, but it didn't give up. He decided to take over a loss-making 1 crore company. When he did that, that company is based in Delhi. So all the those Punjabis, sturdy Punjabis, all of them went on strike when they saw this young leader on a wheelchair. But he managed to turn around the loss-making 1 crore to a 300 crores profitable company. And I realized the secret to this was that the fact that he was never thinking about his own challenges. All the time he was thinking about, for example, he asked me, he said, Meera, do you think will you help me? A lot of my workers, they retire at 60, but they have still so much abilities. So can you help me to build some kind of a not-for-profit where I can retool these and bring them back to work, So as I walked away, and I still keep reflecting that the reason why he is so successful is that he doesn't dwell on his challenges, but he really thinks, how can he do things for others? Next, please. So the message of the message to all was that, first of all, the message to me was that, if all of them can, definitely I can. I cannot give up just because a field looks too difficult. I can. And the message to all the readers was that definitely you can. I think as Professor Chakravarti said, COVID has indeed changed our life. It's changed our education. It's changed our home. We've all had to reboot. I think what is important today is that as students, for all of you to remember that today CEOs of companies look in their employers, not just degrees, not just skills, but they also look to see what is the sense of purpose everyone has. I think it's an opportunity for you and us to embed meaning and purpose into our lives. This purpose can be something as simple as leaving behind an inclusive society, an inclusive India, and an inclusive world. You can begin now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Meena ma'am. Thank you so much, Meena ma'am. I think your work and your words are a testament to bringing in the shift which we see in the society today. I think we need to really reconsider even using the dictum called as disability to disbursing new abilities in people. And that is something I think all of us can take back after this session. Ma'am, we are really thank you for accepting our invitation. And from the whole TCSC family, we extend a warm gratitude for addressing us, for inspiring us, and for motivating all the young entrepreneurs who are sitting, that is our students who are there, that they need to take the society forward in a more inclusive format. Thank you so much, ma'am. Peter Dunker very clearly said, quality is a service or a product which is not put together. It is the client which decides how the service would be evaluated. Now, NAC is one such institution which has been trying to ensure that the higher education institutions in the country provide quality education. On that foreground, I invite Dr. Vineet Vaidya to introduce the chief guest who would be addressing us on online assessment and accreditation methodology in the revised framework. I hand over the proceedings to Dr. Vineet.
Thank you so much, Akash, and a very warm welcome to everyone present over here It's indeed a pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Leena Gahane, to all of us. As everybody knows, she is working in the capacity of the Deputy Advisor NAG Bangalore. Dr. Leena is the professor in physics and has a vast experience of more than 20 years in the academics. Currently, she is working as the Deputy Advisor NAG at Bangalore. She has done her PhD from RTMNU Nagpur University, and her area of interest is superconductivity in reference to the physical world as well as the human life and the nanotechnology along with the nanofluids. She is also the PhD supervisor at RTMNU Nagpur University. She has published several research articles in peer reviewed journals at the national and international level. She is a well known speaker and has delivered more than 800 plus lectures of many national social technical issues on academic, social, and organizational platforms, and chaired the sessions at the national and international conferences, webinars, and the symposia. A freelancer writer, she has written around 1,000 articles, poems on many current issues, and in new papers, magazines, and social media in all the three languages as Marathi, Hindi, and English. She is a human resource trainer to many of the companies like KTC, PWD, Irrigation Department, and many more to quote in the corporate sector. She has worked as a national study team member of unique study done on the status of the women in India in 2019 and has an opportunity to discuss findings of these studies with the Honorable President of Bharat. She is member of the professional bodies like ISTE, Vigyan Bharati, and many more. Presently, she is very much instrumental in designing and development of the new assessment and accreditation tools for higher education institutions, and yet she wants to be acknowledged as academician, cheerleader, and the social worker for India. So, ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you Dr. Leena Gahane, the Deputy Coordinator Advisor for the NAC, as the chief guest for this particular conference. May I humbly request Dr. Leena Gahane to take over the proceedings, please.
Thank you, Dr. Vineet. I think I am audible. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Let me share my presentation. Just to give me an input whether it is visible. I hope it is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Yeah. Thank you so very much. I would like to begin with few lines after hearing to Meera Shenoy ji, the first woman who has, got the seat in Vellore Medical College. So such a, a great personality of our nation who has been working in an area wherein the people are decorated with better ability, I should say, rather than disability, I should say, decorated with better abilities. For Meera ji, I will say, देख महसूस कर आओ मैं तेरी दृष्टि बन जाऊं. देख महसूस कर आओ मैं तेरी दृष्टि बन जाऊं. चल चल मेरा हाथ थाम तेरे पैर में बन जाऊं. चल चल मेरा हाथ थाम तेरे पैर में बन जाऊं. सुंदर है संगीत जीवन का मेरे हृदय पर हाथ तो रख. सुंदर है संगीत जीवन का मेरे हृदय पर हाथ तो रख. मैं तेरी आवाज बन जाऊं. साथ चल मेरे, साथ चल मेरे, भारत को मैं आत्मनिर्भर बनाऊं. भारत को मैं आत्मनिर्भर बनाऊं. इस तरह से बहुत अच्छा काम करने वाले, समाज में परिवर्तन की केवल बात न करते हुए अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के माध्यम से सभी दिव्यांजन व्यक्तियों में विश्वास भरने वाली हमारी आज की गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर माननीय मीरा जी शिनॉय. Thakur College of Science and Commerce is very much instrumental in conducting a webinar on a very relevant topic, that is innovation and sustainability, revitalizing business practices through quality assurance and inclusivity. Honorable all management persons, the principal to the institution, Dr. Chakrabarti, the convener of this conference, Dr. Parul, and all other dear members. Let me seek first of all blessings from Bharat Mata, saying Vande Mataram. As you know, this is Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So let me congratulate all of you that we are witnessing Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav. 1000 वर्ष के संघर्ष के इतिहास के पश्चात भारत को आज़ादी मिली और अभी हम उसके 75 वर्ष के इसमें पदार्पण हमने किया है। तो भारत को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए, भारत का नाम विश्व में ऊंचा करने के लिए हम आदरणीय मीरा जैसे काम करेंगे, इस आश्वासन के साथ आज का जो मेरा व्याख्यान है उसको मैं प्रारंभ करती हूँ। As directed by Dr. Parul, I am supposed to talk on overview of assessment and accreditation process. As you are aware of, for past 2 decades, NAC is working with a vision to make quality the defining element of higher education in India through combination of self and external quality evaluation. Friends, the purpose of education, what Swami Vivekananda says is, it is the manifestation of divinity within. So unless and until the quality education is imparted in the institution with a focus that what and all are the liking of the student, what and all are their capacities, and how we can provide the platform to the student to grow and reach the maxima of their liking. So any educational institution which is looking into all such aspects, we call those institutions as a institution imparting a quality education. Because for their student, not only the curriculum is, they impart the education through curriculum or the teaching and learning. Beyond that, they motivate the students for the innovation. They provide all the opportunities and exposure to their student so that student from the around also learn many things. So as you are aware of, this is what is the quality education. NAC is working with a vision. And of course, NAC is not just an assessment and accreditation agency, but I would say that it is it goes with hand holding with the institution. We help out the institution to sustain with the quality and encourage them to start with the new initiatives. So it is a combination of self and external quality evaluation, promotion and sustenance initiative. Looking at to these 3 lines, we find that ye to aasan hai. But if you look into the expanse of higher education in Bharat, then there are more than 50,000 higher education institutions. So getting all into the, in a journey or a path of quality education, that is really a big challenge. But if the goal is very, very broad and it encompasses everybody, then naturally we have to have the very focused mission steps. You people being a business institution students as well as the faculty, the approach to any startup, your commitment, your hardship, as well as attitude and, timelines, all these aspects, they play very important role. So to reach such a broader vision, NAC also has some steps and we call them as a mission statements. You are aware of NAC arrange for the periodic assessment and accreditation of the institution. Then we stimulate the academic environment for promotion of quality of teaching, learning, and research. Research plays an important role in our life. We start with something. For an example, we are starting with some business. And if we really wanted to look into whether whatever direction we are going to or whatever are our aspirations to start and flower our business, whether it is in the right direction or not, we need to have some feedback. For that, we conduct some survey. And depending upon that, our quality assurance cell, it design the processes, it adds to somewhat, value depending upon the feedback, and you improve the processes so that the output becomes more beneficial to whatever is the input given. As rightly pointed out by our guest of honor, that when she wanted to launch with all our Divyanjan students, especially having impaired in hearing and speaking capabilities, that time she started with a pilot project. After launching up that idea and giving an opportunities to such a division, they conducted a survey, and from survey they got a feedback that yes, this would be the sector in which we can launch our, what you can say, division people, they can seek the jobs. So research plays an important role, and as far as the market dynamics is concerned with, the business is concerned with, or any entrepreneurship is concerned with, research is an important component. And if you look into the overall structure of a NAC's assessment and accreditation, research has got an immense value. Then to encourage self-evaluation, accountability, autonomy, and innovations. See, whenever you are submitting any document or a data to the NAC, then naturally you are self-evaluating yourself. That means you are reviewing whether whatever are the intents of various metrics in the revised accreditation framework, are our all initiatives or the practices mapping up to that? So you are self-evaluating. Whatever data, documents you are providing, you are accountable for that. And in these two conditions, you are, enjoying your autonomy, and so also you can boost up the innovation practices in your institution. Then to undertake quality related research studies, consultancies, and training program. Friends, it's not that the educational institutions are only doing research. Let me tell you that we at NAC, we are also doing research. Whatever data are submitted by you as an institution, depending upon the availability of the data, we try to look into each of the aspect, how the institutions are performing, how they are responding, what and all are their difficulties, what are challenges in front of them, how the institution, when they were previously accredited, have converted a challenge into opportunity. So we are also doing a research to know much more about the institution, so that these particular recommendations on from NAC, they are given to the state government as well as central government, whenever as a reference, whenever they frame a policy related to higher education institution, with focus to the geography, with focus to the type of institution as well. So also the consultancy and training programs, we encourage the institution to take up, and this is how we are going with. So also we collaborate with the other stakeholders of higher education. Just as you are aware of this particular international conference, it is sponsored by NAC. That means institution and NAC, they are hand-holding for the cause or theme of this conference. Whenever there is any design, whenever the ideas, they are framed to somewhat, you can say, structure, definitely there has to be a core base. We call it as a core values. If the values are strong, then only you can reach to that particular goal. So the underlying core values of this particular assessment and accreditation framework is contribution to the national development. We encourage the institutions to have, motivate the students to come for the national development programs taken up under various schemes of government, as well as institution as an entity, responsible entity for transformation. We encourage them to go for such initiatives and activities. Fostering the global competencies among students. This is a very big challenge we have nowadays, isn't it? Unless and until our students are competent enough, trained to face the challenges, they cannot convert the challenges into opportunities. So scaling India, scaling our students to acquire for the job, that is nothing but developing the competencies among students. So what and all are the opportunities created by the institution in their own campus? One point. And the second point, how the institution is collaborating either with the industry or the other entrepreneurs or the NGOs or with the society, so that their students are, skilled in far better way beyond the curriculum. Inculcating value system among the students, it is also important. See, we live in a diverse, integrated society. And you people, being the people of the business management, you have to deal with the public now and then. So you are a public face, basically. There are the group dynamics. You sometimes act as a leader, sometimes act as a group member. So in that dynamics, you have to place yourself very focused. And so also you have to collaborate with the other's idea. Sometimes you need to push your ideas also. So you are the takers of the idea, you are the givers of the idea, and sometimes you are hand holding with the ideas. In such a condition, inculcating the value system among the student, that particular initiative of the institution will definitely play an important role. The students will be trained, or they will be brought in such a way that they will respect each other, and the group of the students, or the group of the people who are working in the some company, they can perform to the highest. Promotion and use of technology. Our dear friend who was comparing well, continuously he informed that the technology is beautiful, but there may be some flickering of the internet, and that should not obstruct our overall zeal of participation to this conference. Yes, he was very true. May there be some flickers, but our mind should be steady that, and we must be firmly deciding that yes, we are to be there throughout the conference. See, technology has played a beautiful role. An international e-conference is possible only through the technology. It's not required that myself presently sitting in Bangalore in my cabin, I am with you. Somebody from other country may be joining with you. So the use of technology is beautiful, how you take it. So NAC uses the technology to the max. We request our institution to use the technology and take forward the message of transformation to the society at ease. Quest for excellence. See, whatever I was yesterday, I have to be better today and the best tomorrow. That is what is the journey of life. Quest of excellence doesn't only reflect on or the best career. Success is good, but rather than, I should say that, to be more successful, it would be better to make our life more meaningful. Success will come automatically. So giving meaning to the life, devoting for excellence. So these are all the core values on which the complete structure of NAC's assessment and accreditation it is developed. NAC continues with its focus for the quality culture of the institution, quality initiative, sustenance, and quality enhancement. And all these things are reflected in NAC's vision, organization, operation, and processes. All the faculty members, they might be aware of, NAC is very, all the while approaching to the all stakeholders. They keep we keep our stakeholders informed, we take the feedback from them, and we also keep on modifying the processes wherever needed. So NAC's conviction is that quality is a concern are institutional. It is not that we as an agency, we will just evaluate your quality. The quality is an institutional concern, and it will be possible only when the institution will take these things very seriously from within the heart. So also, if you look into the NAC's framework, then you will find that it involves participation of all stakeholders. May it be the management, faculty members, administrative staff, student, parents, employees, employers, community, and alumni all. So this is a joint project the institution take up whenever the institution is willing for to come for assessment and accreditation. Assessment and accreditation terms, they are well defined in our glossary. Still, for the new people who wanted to enter into this assessment accreditation, assessment is nothing but a performance evaluation of an institution, and it is based on certain established criterias. And of course, the accreditation is nothing but a certification of that quality, and it will be valid for the fixed period, that is nothing but 5 years in case of NAC. This is the ladder on which step by step, through various steps, you have to climb and reach the status of what you can say as an accredited institution. The very basic thing institution has to do is, first of all, apply for assessment and accreditation and create HEI portal. What I told you in the core values that NAC promotes ICT. So the whole, thing of assessment and accreditation, it is through portal only. After that, institution has to submit the institutional information for quality assessment. That is nothing but the application for A&A process. After that, institution is supposed to prepare their own self-study report. The name itself, reflects what is an intent of that particular SSR. In that, institution has to look into all the criterias, the key indicators, the metrics, and accordingly they need to respond what and all is a performance of the institution related to that particular metric along with the supporting documents. Once this SSR is coming to the institution, coming to the NAC, it is allotted to the third party. We call it as a DVV partners. They evaluate your all the data along with the supporting documents, and simultaneously, one of the important party to this A&A process are our student. Their satisfaction to the teaching and learning evaluation process of the institution is conducted through a survey, which we call as a triple S. Once the institution is pre-qualified, if the institution is scoring 25% in the quantitative metrics, then we call that the institution is pre-qualified. Those institutions, they are eligible to have the peer team visit, and after that the accreditation will happen. So you being the business people, you know the importance of the flow charts. So this is a flow chart of the assessment and accreditation process. And of course, the timelines are also important. So this is a timeline. When you submit your IIQA, within 30 days, you have to submit 30 to 45 days, you have to submit your SSR. After that, within 30 days, the DVV process and the student satisfaction survey, it will be finished up. And in next 3 months, definitely the peer team visit will happen and the institution, it will get accredited. So this is how is the timeline of, you can say, nearly 6 to 9 months, and we can have the status from non-accredited to accredited. Revised accreditation framework, it is more ICT enabled, it is objective, it is transparent, it is scalable, and it is robust. See, the beauty of technology is this. Since then, the net banking has started. Initially, we were very fearing about how we will manage with these banking strategies, whether we will be able to operate it in proper way or not. But now, sitting at your own place through your mobile, you are able to see each and every transaction to your account. So see the beauty of ICT. See the, how objectively it is providing you the data, and you are able to get the updates to your account whenever you want. Similarly, if you look into NAC's A&A process, then definitely the complete structure, it is very, very transparent. And through your HEI portal, you are able to look into what is the status of your application, where you have reached. So this is how all the revised accreditation framework looks at. Tell me whenever my time is over, then I will just wind up. Okay, then comes the eligibility. Who are eligible to apply for the NAC's A&A process? Any institution completing the 2 batches of graduation or having 6 years of existence, they are eligible for to apply for A&A process. Then, of course, it is very much needed that the institution applying, they should have the all affiliation documents, they should have ISHE, they should have the statutory regulating authority documents. And the third point is they should have the registration to the NAC portal. So these are the things wherein the institution have to have what you can say the documents with them. When what I was talking about the framework, if you look at, it consists of 7 criteria. First one is the curricular aspect. Second, teaching, learning, evaluation, research, innovation, extension, infrastructure and learning resources, student support and progression, governance, leadership, management, institutional values, and best practices. All these 7 things, they are nothing but the Sapta Mahabhuta for an institution to grow as quality education imparting institution. We have heard of Pancha Mahabhuta. Any living entity requires all these uh, things to grow and be alive. Similarly, for an institution, these 7 bhutas, they will play an important role. So NAC's revised accreditation framework is nothing but the lifeline, or you can say the booster dose to an institution wherein they can take up the quality paths. These are certain comparative distribution of a metrics and the key indicators across various manuals, which is very much available in the manual which is hosted on NAC. But I just wanted to seek your attention to the assessment process involves the participation of the institution, because institution, they need to sit together, all the stakeholder, and they have to prepare their SSR. Then our student, they are also uh, important in this ANA process, as they have to put their views on how the teaching, learning, and overall institutional ambience as well as atmosphere is. And the third one is our peer team members, who are people who are having a lot of academic experience, and they are in person visiting to your institution, talking to you as an ambassador of NAC to know about how and all are the quality aspects to the institution. Question may arise to our mind: why to do this particular assessment and accreditation? What is the benefit to us? Is it required? So there are certain benefits. First of all, the institution knows strength, weaknesses, and opportunities. The institution also can plan for resource allocation. Institution can collegiate on campus. They can opt for various funding agencies. They can get a fund. Then institution can initiate innovative and modern methods of pedagogy. So once you know what and all are the strengths, you can empower your strengths. Wherein all there is a weakness, you can give a special focus to those weakness and convert it into the opportunity. Then even, whenever the institution is getting some grade, the society also looked into uh, that particular institution to be what you can say a more reliable education imparting institution. And also the what you can say the intra and inter institutional collaborations will also be a possibility. Are my slides scrolling down? Can anybody give me the feedback?
Yes, ma'am. Your
Yeah.
slides are
So I will just run through various slides because it is not required. I just wanted to share with you. This is a special feature NAC is coming with. That is nothing but the provisional accreditation for the colleges. As you are aware of, Bharat is going to implement national education policy. And as per the mandate of national education policy, all the 55,000 institutions are supposed to get accreditation. So NAC has come with a beautiful, what you can say, application. We called it as a provisional accreditation for the
Excuse me,
colleges.
ma'am.
We are coming it with the institution as well. So
Excuse me,
it is
ma'am.
nothing but a Salavisi Hatha Dharoniya. Since I'm talking to the Mumbai college, they can understand Marathi. Ki whenever somebody is lagging behind, it is better to handhold and take along. So this is how NAC is willing to. NAC is coming out with a PAC to widen the horizon of accreditation, thereby inviting more number of higher education institutions
Excuse
to
me, ma'am.
adopt high quality through the provisional accreditation. Provisional accreditation is granted to the colleges in planning stage of its assessment and accreditation. The institutions who have never applied for A&A process, these are such newborn institutions, as well as the institution who has never applied for, they will be encouraged through this PAC. What is the objective of this process? To identify the colleges which are eligible to apply for comprehensive A&A process, then to provide the feedback to them, how they are performing, and to handhold and sensitize, motivate the institution. We are finding that many rural institutions, they are not daring to come forward. They feel that पता नहीं हमारे पास डेटा नहीं है, डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं है, हमारा ठीक से accreditation होगा कि नहीं. So we are there to handhold with them, motivate with them, support them to come forward for the, what you can say, the provisional accreditation. That is the objective of this particular process. So this is making the institution ready for further assessment and accreditation process. ऐसा होता है ना, किसी भी खिलाड़ी को फाइनल मैच में भेजने से पहले तैयारी की जाती है, कई सारी मॉक तैयारियां होती है, मॉक स्पर्धाएं ली जाती है. तो प्रोविजनल एक्रेडिटेशन इस तरह से हम ये कहेंगे कि हम इंस्टीट्यूशन को रेडी कर रहे हैं कि वो ग्रेडेड असेसमेंट एक्रेडिटेशन में आगे चलकर बढ़कर आए. गाइडलाइंस है हमारे नैक के वेबसाइट पर, गाइडलाइंस दिया है, परंतु मैं आपको बताऊं कि एनी इंस्टीट्यूशन हु हैज जस्ट कंप्लीटेड 1 academic year,
Alina
2
ma'am?
semester, yes, I'm winding up.
No, ma'am, I'm sorry, but the screen is stuck to the last slide, which is benefits of accreditation.
Okay, that is how I was asking.
Yeah.
Okay, what I will do, I will share once.
Sure.
Again, एक बार मैं कर देती हूँ. फ्रीज हो गई थी ऐसा मुझे लगा. अभी दिख रहा है?
हाँ मैम, अभी दिख रहा है.
Yeah. So I was talking about this, identify the colleges which are eligible to apply for PSC, then to provide a feedback to and encourage the institution to come forward for provisional accreditation. This is the readiness of the institution, making them ready to face the assessment and accreditation process, which we called as a graded or cycled assessment and accreditation process. So I told you that institution who is just a newborn and having only 1 academic year completed, having the result of 2 semesters to the student, they are eligible to apply for this PAC, and the validation of this PAC will be only for 2 years. Matlab, if institution is coming for PAC this year, they got the certificate, this certificate will be valid only for 2 years, and institution can come for provisional accreditation only twice. Only for 2 times they can come. After that, they have to come for the graded accreditation assessment and accreditation process. The registration fees is very, affordable. It is only 10,000 if the institution wish to come for PAC. So we are looking up that all the we should be able to cater the the needs of the institutions to an extent so that they can get motivation to come forward for assessment and accreditation process. So that is actually the intention of this small application, which is consisting of only 20 questions. 10 questions are quantitative questions and 10 questions are qualitative questions. And of course, we in this particular application, along with the basic information, we are disclosing what you can say the benchmarks also. So this is a quantitative questions, 10 questions are there. And what would be the score if the data is like this? The benchmarks are also disclosed. These are the qualitative questions. More of the questions, if you look into all this application is of course there on the NAC website. You can definitely visit to that particular application. But if you look overall that all the questions which are there, all 20 questions, 10 quantitative, 10 qualitative, all are covering up the umbrella of a revised accreditation framework. That is what I wanted to mention over here. What happens? People fear assessment and accreditation process. Dekha dekhi, suna suni. So what I suggest is don't run with ignorance. We know this Panchatantra story wherein the Khargosh who was sleeping, who is a very fearful animal, was sleeping, and all of a sudden the small leaf falls in on him, and he started shouting that, oh, the sky has fallen and we are going to die. So he makes the all forest animals run. And they run with ignorance. They did not ask, why are you running? What has happened? So we say that don't run with ignorance. Rather read, understand, discuss, and be knowledgeable. Whatever information related to assessment and accreditation process, it is hosted on NAC website. Definitely read each and every document. If you have any query, you can, through the IMS, through the help desk, you can always post your query to us. Within 24 hours, we will be responding to your query. Friends, the new hashtag of life is be a change, see a change. We always talk of a change to happen. ऐसा नहीं होता, वैसा होना चाहिए. लोग तो यूं करते ही नहीं. This is what is the tone whenever we are in a group sitting, chit chatting, eating samosas, having coffee. But friends, this is the time has gone. Chit chatting is of no use. If you wanted to see the change, be a part of that change. I wish a very best of luck to your conference. And I would say that when the institution is coming for next A&A process, earlier you will find that all your data documents will be here and there. Once you apply and come in the process, everything is well set. I thank you, Dr. Parul, for inviting me for this conference. And I'm very glad to hear many things from Meeraji. Today's her, what I can say, her work to the society, especially to the Divyanjan student, has given me also some direction, not only to work for what you can say, for the cause of education, but to the cause of society. So also I should find some time. Thank you very much, the organizers. Namaste.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for actually giving us your time, which is the biggest gift we can get, and the detailed, articulate speech you eventually went for to discuss. Let me just assure you that all the older Panchamahabhutas in our college will train all the younger Panchamahabhutas so that we can achieve the Saptamaharishis, whereby the Adan Pradan of knowledge will eventually ensure better Gyan and Vigyan being distributed. So that is something that I can assure you of from this portal in Thakur College, because our principal leads that quality and the change accordingly. Anyways, moving ahead to one of the most important and the most interesting segments of the program, we have now the digital launch of the proceedings. Any conference is not complete without a publication, because a paper in a publication is nothing but a paper of consciousness. It is far beyond just the truths of reality, but a larger truth of life. I request all the dignitaries' attendance in this hall at this interval, that is Dr. C.D. Chakrabarti, Dr. S.D. Asgekar and Dr. Nishikant Jha, the vice principals, Dr. Vijay Jadhav, Dr. Parul Singhal, the academic deans, to unveil the digital proceedings. In attendance, we also have the chief guest as well as the guest of honor for the session. Just to give an insight into what the publication is all about, the publication for one-day multidisciplinary international e-conference on innovation and sustainability, revitalizing business practices through quality assurance and inclusivity, organized by Department of Commerce and IQAC, Thakur College of Science and Commerce, in association with National Assessment and Accreditation Council, NAC, and Indian Council for Social Science Research, ICSSR, which includes 160 published publications of paper on various themes from marketing management, strategy and entrepreneurship, human resource management, international business, economic trends and issues, financial accounting, and science and technology. The publications include students, teachers, research scholars as the preliminary contributors who have given their original and research ideas. We've received a stupendous response from various parts of the country as well as abroad, making this publication a testament of varied ideas, thoughts, and articulations, as even resounded by our guest. Because the ideas which are put forward here are eventually justifying the testament of the idea which our Maha Upanishad said, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. On your screens at this interval, you see the snapshots of the e-copy or the digital copy of the conference proceeding. The team is eventually showing you the first few pages of the publication. As you can see, the publication includes a due reference about the institutions involved and the organizations who have partnered. We have the committee and then the papers. The publication would be available online after the conference. So this is the first glimpse of it. As you can see here, these are the words of acknowledgement from various institutions, starting from University of Mumbai, where we have the Vice Chancellor eventually giving his words, including the Chief Guest's address, the Guest of Honor's address, as well as all the other associated members of the conference, starting from the management representatives, principal, vice principal, and the convener. Thank you, everyone. Every story has an end, and what feels like the end is often the beginning. Even if we have come to the end of the inaugural ceremony, the conference is still not concluded. Nevertheless, I request Vice Principal Degree Science, Dr. S.D. Asgekar, to deliver the formal vote of thanks. And here I give the proceedings to sir.
Thank you, Akash Deshmukh sir. Chief guest of the today's function, Dr. Leena Gahane, Deputy Advisor, NAC. Guest of honor, Ms. Meera Shenoy, Founder, Youth for Jobs. Dr. Mrs. C.T. Chakravarti, Principal of the organizing institution. Dr. Parul Singhal, Convener of the International Multidisciplinary E-Conference on Innovation and Sustainability. All other dignitaries on the virtual dais, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to welcome and extend the gratitude on behalf of Tagore College of Science and Commerce and organizing team, especially when our college is celebrating Silver Jubilee this year. We are grateful to Dr. Leena Gahane, Deputy Advisor, NAC, for a lucid presentation and views for assessment and accreditation methodology in revised framework. I am sure the presentation will definitely be helpful for the audience and educational institutions. Thank you, Madam, for sharing dais today morning. Our sincere thanks to Ms. Meera Shenoy, Founder of Youth for Job, for accepting our invitation and expressing her views on the topic, underlining affirmative and inclusive policy action in business environment. Thank you, ma'am, for igniting the core issue of the International Multidisciplinary E-Conference organized by Department of Commerce, Tagore College of Science and Commerce in association with NAC and ICSSR. We are also thankful to Dr. Arvind Kalia, well-known educationalist, Dr. Radhesham Pradhan, Academic Director, Uniglobe College, Nepal, Dr. Amit Vaikar, Managing Director, C. Doheller Food and Beverages Ingredients from Thailand, for joining the dais, accepting our invitation, and will be sharing their views during the deliberations of this international conference today. We are fortunate enough to have supportive top management of Tagore College of Science and Commerce, especially Principal Dr. Mrs. C.T. Chakravarti, for her support, motivation, and minute-to-minute detailing to organize this e-conference. I also must place on the record the association of Tagore College of Science and Commerce with National Assessment and Accreditation Council, Bangalore, and Indian Council of Social Science Research for guiding us to organize this particular e-conference. I also acknowledge the efforts taken by Dr. Parul Singhal, convener of the International E-Conference, IKSA of the Tagore College of Science and Commerce, members of organizing team, technical team, paper review committee, Dr. Nishikant Jha, Vice Principal of the Faculty of Commerce, Dr. Vijay Jadhav, Dean, Faculty of the Science, for their active support. Last but not least, we are thankful to entire audience, especially those who are going to present their valuable research outcome in presence of peers in this conference. On behalf of the Institute organizing team, I am extending my best luck to all and expecting new ideas, new terminologies in business practices, as an outcome of this conference. Thank you to all once again. Over to Akash Deshmukh sir.
Thank you so much, sir. So this officially calls for the signing off movement from the inaugural ceremony. But then we are starting off with our plenary session. Just give us a moment so that all the speakers and all the arrangements can be made. So we'll eventually go forward and have the sessions. As informed by the sir, the plenary session is a more experiential one where we have three very eminent speakers going forward to discuss and deliberate about how the landscapes, especially the commerce and economic landscapes, have changed over the past few years. We have Dr. Arvind Kalia, educationist, who is going to discuss and deliberate his views on innovation and entrepreneurship, a marriage made in heaven. We'll have Dr. Radhesham Pradhan, academic director, Uniglobe College, Nepal, who will be talking about redefining international quality standards in business. And we'll have Dr. Amit Vaikar, MD CE Doja Foods and Beverage Ingredients, Thailand, who will be talking about reflecting on changing landscape on global markets. We'll start off with the introduction for the first speaker. May I call upon Mr. Abhijit Ray to introduce our speaker, Dr. Arvind Kalia.
Thank you, Akash sir. Today indeed is a very exciting day for each and everybody who are joining, and from our side also. I'd prefer to start with the words of Swami Vivekananda. Education is the manifestation of the divinity that is already present in us. And this conference tries to bring out the truth that is being expressed through different ways: science, technology, commerce, management, human resource. And this next few hours and this conference is going to be an assimilation of knowledge. We value gold as the most precious commodity. Here we are in front of us, Dr. Arvind Kalia, who has started his life being a gold medalist. 1987 from R.A. Poddar Institute of Management with an MBA Marketing, Advertisement and Sales. He was the gold medalist. So we are honored to have us gold medalist among us. 1987, he joined Rajasthan Communication Limited as executive assistant to the managing director. He continued till 1989, where from till 2005, he remained as the assistant professor marketing, advertisement and sales in his own alma mater, R.A. Poddar Institute of Sales. In between, he did not let the years go by. He went on to assimilate more knowledge. 2001, IIM Ahmedabad. He completed the MDP, the Management Development Program on data analysis for marketing decisions. 2003, Kellogg School of Management under Northwestern University. He completed the academic executive program. 2005 to 2015, he joined Rajasthan Patrika Private Limited, one of the most eminent newspapers of the world, as national head marketing. From 2015, he moved on to a very, very important role, national head mentoring. If we see the journey of Dr. Arvind Kalia, we can understand what is the motto of our life. You start with a bang, you go on assimilating knowledge. As you move up, and after distribution of the knowledge, it is time to help others, handhold others, and pass on the knowledge to see a bright future for our country. So, thank you once again, sir, for gracing this organization, gracing this opportunity and this conference. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. I thank you, Dr. Abhijit, for in a very liberal way he introduced me, and I thank Dr. Parul Singhal also. She was in touch with me around 1 or 2 months ago, and she invited me, and I'm feeling honored here. I got a letter from your principal, Dr. Chakrabarti. I'm thankful to them also. And the vice principal, Dr. S.D. Jagekar. I'm thankful to him. And then dear faculty, participants, and the students who are attending this conference. And I'm going to speak on innovations and entrepreneurship. A marriage made in heaven here. So let's start it. I share with you a small presentation which will go with small theoretical pithy lines. And at the same time, you are going to have some audio visual presentation to substantiate my point of view. I used to have around 2000 crores of rupees target yearly that I am supposed to achieve. And then while doing extensive practice of whatever I learned in the great academics institutions about marketing, and wrote maybe many papers, and later on I practiced it. So whatever I gathered through the very beautiful fusion of this experience versus academic knowledge, I'm going to present it in 15-20 minute slides here, with lots of audio visual presentation here. As the time permits, I'll keep on going, and then I'll end maybe in 20-25 minutes here. So I share my presentation with you. Just a second. Give me a moment. I'll just share it here. So we first come immediately to innovation here. What is innovation? And as a practitioner here, when one of the top 20 newspapers in the world here, and we generally believe in a very broad definition of innovation here. And innovation here, we talk about like something new which can create wealth and or both make a difference in our well-being here. That is what is an innovation here. And when I'm saying that it is something really very broad here, it means it can be anything here, which right now even students sometimes they cannot think of it here. For example, let's take innovation can be an experience here. And nowadays you will find that in the academics world, experience marketing is taught separately there. People don't believe that who are you, how big you are, what awards you have won here. They remember only the experience that you give in your company to the person. Even if after 7 births here, the person remembers those experiences, and they are there in our long-term memory as the impression here. That is what is an experience marketing here. Even the smallest of any entity of the corporate world, if it ensures a good experience with their ordinary products, with their ordinary people, with their ordinary processes also, they can create tremendous success here. Let's take a very ordinary product called cold drink here, which is a carbonated water with 16 spoon of say sugar is there, but their thinking on the experience here is really creating a difference here. So what happened here, I'm going to show you one small audio visual presentation here about Coca-Cola here. They are now trying to say share their happiness on maybe a Valentine Day here. So let's look at that, how they are sharing their happiness here, maybe in the other words, giving a very innovative experience to their ordinary users who are visiting a mall on Valentine Day, and suddenly they find some say vending a small automatic booth of Coca-Cola is present there, and they are supposed to get a free Coca-Cola provided they are able to say prove to this Coca-Cola machine, yes, they are couple here. Let's look at that. And then don't forget that we are trying to understand innovation here, and innovation first definition is it's very broad here, and here it is I'm defining as one of the examples is experience here. So I stop sharing it and take you towards this audio visual presentation. Give me a moment here, just a second. I open my VLC player screen for you. Just a second. Just a second here. Yes, this is available to you now. And I'm going to present you this happiness machine, which is basically talking about innovative experience here. And it is a slightly of a long duration, 2 minutes 13 seconds here. So I expect your concentration completely here to understand what innovation here as an experience. So this is like experience here in a very, very innovative manner for such a mundane product called carbonated drink here. And then with 16 spoonful of maybe sugar inside there, but experience is there. Let's going further in our quick journey of innovation here so that we understand the beautiful say immense boundaries of this innovation, rather than we should not use the word immense boundaries here. It is a boundaryless thing here. So what can be innovation? Innovation generally, let's have some say diktat from my side. It is our religion here. When you say religion here, it means here innovate and just innovate here. And then when we talk about innovation in such a stressful, or you can say with such emphasis here, then one question is going to come. For example, how many innovation Indian corporate world has, and those go unnoticed here? One, two, or thousands here. Maybe our corporate industry, even in when I'm working in the industry, I'm handling so many products here. Maybe we are having in my own company hundreds of innovations here, and hardly one survived there. And most of our innovations are going unnoticed here. And we find some ordinary say innovations which are generating tons of wealth here. That is what with these two things we are going to understand here. So I'm going to present here, say you can ask questions, or if Indian industry is having thousands of innovation, can you just give me an idea about what are the 1, 2, 3 types of maybe innovations here? So I'm going to present here one audio visual presentation coming from a very credible source from AC Nielsen here, which is one of the largest marketing research company, not only in India, but in the world here. And maybe long time back, they organized some consumer fair, and at the time they prepared one say audio visual presentation so far as innovation is concerned in Indian industry, and where you will be pleasantly surprised that so many innovations are done by Indian industry in different categories here. And then one thing that you are going to notice in this audio visual presentation is here, it is not necessary that we should have we should expect say small success from small innovations here. Sometimes small innovations like shampoo coming for the first time in 1983 in small sachet, right now contributes 70% of the sales of shampoo in entire India here, which goes into thousands of crores here. So let's understand the quantity of innovations here, so that we are ready to produce when we jump into the corporate world, not one, two, or three, maybe hundreds of innovation for all processes of an organization here. That is what I'm trying to say again, pass this message to you. So I'm going to again share one small presentation with you of, this is the AC Nielsen presentation here, which gives you an idea about the Indian industry innovation, whereby indirectly I'm trying to prove that yes, we are ready for such type of innovation bombardment when we are going to start our arduous journey of, say, corporate world. So it's around 2 minutes, 2-second audio visual presentation, slightly older here, yet having tremendous relevance even in the year 2022 after Corona here. So I play it here for your sake, viewing here. So let's again resume our innovation journey to understand the beauty of this. Already explained, innovation includes experience even with the existing products. Innovation is our religion here, and we are ready to do thousands of innovations here, and even we are ready also. These innovations are, even if they are going unnoticed, we are not disheartened, we are not disappointed. We are continuously proceeding further with our arduous effort here without getting demotivated here. Going to next one here, innovation is a religion. Then we go to the next one here. Say innovations are always customer centric here, and in that customer centric, you will say that it's such an ordinary thing, why are we teaching it here? Sometime what happens, the new designs, the new sleek appearances even of our mobile phones become more than what consumer needs here. That's why you find finest of the design sometime become a failure here. That's why I'm now taking your attention to the iPhone makers here, Apple, who are having gigantic factories in China. They are manufacturing 500,000 iPhone daily, and the world is tremendously demanding it here. iPhone 13, iPhone 14, etc. will keep coming here, and the prices are increasing here. But look at their design here, and they never forget users here who may even like simple concepts over complex one here. So one officially prepared small audio visual presentation, very abstract here, no models are here, only a few balls and strings are there. They are trying to teach the world what is their philosophy so far as innovation is concerned, and in innovation they are going to have design here. So I am going to play you that audio visual presentation here to understand innovation means design, but we are not say just loving our design, that how complex it is here. No, it is always consumer centric here, because we know that the finest of the designs here, most beautiful designs have failed earlier. That's why consumer centricism is a most important thing here. So second here, something happened with my, yes, now it is right. I again share with you this audio visual presentation in our quick journey. It is by Apple, official Apple movie so far as innovative design is concerned here. And in a very abstract manner, they are explaining that. Let's look at that. So let's this is the Apple very beautiful definition of their innovative, and what they I want to say here, innovations are not egocentric here, that something out of the world will come and gives us billions of dollar wealth here. No, no, no. What happens here, you start small and it would automatically result into bigger innovations here, and India is full of such type of examples here. I'm going to show you one small distribution innovation, that is a place innovation. In marketing there are 4 P's: product, price, place, and promotion. Here I'm talking about a place innovation here by one Sardar ji, and then he is opening one small showroom here, and that showroom, you will think, is it of a car, is it of some electronic showroom, whatever it is there. No, they are having showroom. Just look at that, this one here, papad ka showroom hai yahan par, pappu papad store here, and this person is earning decent money. Again an innovation here, but no ego is involved that I am coming out with something out of the world here. Innovation should start small here. Maybe some matches manufacturer is basically having some cover design here, and this cover design is having new brand name here, and the new brand of beautiful photograph is also there, and they are trying to relate with a beautiful girl here. Maybe Dulhan matches is there, she is very gorgeous here. When she comes in the real life, she fires our heart here. In the similar fashion, in some analogical manner, the person is going to have some jindagi mein aag laga de here. The question comes, sir, whatever these little innovations are there, maybe they are generating some good successes here, but we are not convinced unless and until some big corporate peoples are also doing the same thing here. Maybe this inferiority complex we may be having as an Indian here, but this has to be fired out from our heart here. That's why these two things should be substantiated by some you can say innovative examples. Very little innovation here coming from the biggest of the organizations of India. Let's take an example of Hindustan Unilever Limited here, which is biggest company so far as FMCG is concerned, maybe having a turnover of 40,000 crores of rupees. What they are doing, and let's take their one simple brand called Lux soap here, फिल्मी सितारों का सौंदर्य साबुन जिसको लगाने से आप सुंदर हो जाते हो. Let's look at that. I'm just going to have this example here. So let's take Lux soap as an example, and we are trying to understand the beauty of the smallest things of innovation here. It's not egocentric here. It is something driven by creating a wealth for society, for the company, and for the social well-being also, maybe like that. So let's say, look at this Lux when it was before even 1927. It was a washing soap for your inner silk innerwear here, and later on in 1942 or maybe before that, they changed it from a washing soap to say a toilet soap here. And in 1942, when Mahatma Gandhi was having Quit India movement, Bharat Chodo Andolan, when this Leela Chitnis here, one of the famous Bollywood actress here, was advertising here that here is a beauty tip from a lovely Leela Chitnis here, and she is talking about the Lux soap here. And if you look at say at the bottom of this particular advertisement, it is a Lux toilet soap here. They are using a word toilet here, and the Lux toilet soap that they are using it here. And now this is 1942. Now 80 years have immediately flashed by here, and now we are sitting in 2022. And what innovation this Lux is having, which is having thousands of crores rupees turnover across India, so many ruralites and urbanites in India with a dream that their skin will look like just of maybe of a film star. They are using this Lux extensively here. Let's look at their innovation here. That means after 80 years, what's the new in the Lux? Look at their small innovation. Their packaging has changed. How the Lux is written here, it is also changed here. Toilet word has been removed from this Lux here. They are now talking about velvet touch here. That means they are talking about some say consumer experience here. That is what they are talking about. And this is what is say Lux here. And for noticeably velvety skin here, not much differences there. But what we are talking about, innovation should not be egocentric. Even smallest things deserve your attention, and it should be innovation here. Coming to the end of my presentation here, say innovation is not simply restricted to products. That something mind-boggling innovation involving tremendous amount of technology will only be innovations here. It is all processes coming together. For example, non-technological innovation can be business models like time sharing holidays, like Airbnb, etc. They are simply business model innovations here. Generally, what happens in India, we think professional courses are just engineering and medical, which is that obsolete dinosaur type of thinking here. If you look at the developed part of the world here, you will find that professional courses are those courses which are having an industry. Even in the arts, say faculty, if someone is teaching music, music is one of the biggest industry right now, generating tremendous amount of dollars right now. This is a professional degree here. So we have to change that mindset also, that professionalism doesn't stand only for engineers in the medical. Anything in which you are working here, if it is having an say some money wealth, it is an industry here. And that's why first thing is coming as a business model. Airbnb is simply a business model here. Maybe some pricing innovations can be there, maybe freenomics. I'm not going into that detail. Is the online pricing say innovation is there. Some promotion innovations can be there, distribution innovation can be there. I have a lot of examples to distribute here, but the time has its own restrictions here, so I'm ending it here. But before ending it, I'm not denying that product will not have any innovations here. You can think of out of the world product also for you here. And that's why, for example, Google people have invested tremendously in asteroid minings also. In near Earth orbit, there may be 9,000 asteroids, and some are consisting of the precious metal like say platinum, gold, etc. And if you look at the space here, Earth looks to be a very, very tiny entity. And if you are able to capture these asteroids here for mining something say very, very precious on the Earth here, you will be basically creating wealth for your company and maybe for the American as a country, tremendous amount of wealth here. So this is out of the world innovation is here. I'm not say going to show you the audio with the presentation of this asteroid mining here, and some can be maybe this driverless car, just like running, and you are sleeping here maybe by a Volvo here. So these things are also included here. So in this way, in time, I think I have finished my presentation here. And thank you so much for giving me opportunity. Thank you, Parul. Thank you, other people in this Thakur College here. Thank you, faculty. Thank you, participants, and the dear students for giving me the patient listening here. Thank you so much.
It was indeed a pleasure to actually hear, listen, and experience your presentation, just because of the fact that it was not just going forward and giving us theoretical perspectives, but being very relevant to time and actually discussing examples and business models which are true to what we see today. Actually speaking, I have an urgent addition here. There is someone who would like to talk to you, sir. I hope you will recognize and remember her.
Thank you so much, sir, for facilitating this session. I'm really overwhelmed. I was not scheduled, but I just did not want to miss out on the opportunity to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because this moment is more gratifying for me on a personal note, as my tutor is tutoring my students. So thank you so much, sir, for being there and delivering this knowledge in the change perspective of commerce and management. Thank you so much, sir. Over to you, Akash.
Thank you, ma'am. Talent is what you have naturally, and skill is you have developed over hours and hours of beating your craft. And today we have one such talented and skilled professional addressing us. I call upon Mr. Roger DeMello to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Amit Vaikar, who will address the gathering on reflecting on changing landscapes in global markets. Over to you, Roger, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, respected dignitaries, fellow teachers, and students. Today, we have with us Mr. Amit Vinay Vaikar. On behalf of Thakur College of Science and Commerce, I would like to welcome you to this one-day international e-conference on innovation and sustainability, revitalizing business practices through quality assurance and inclusivity. Without too much of a wait, I would like to introduce our eminent invited speaker for the next session. Mr. Vaikar completed his Master's in Business Administration from Nagpur University with a specialization in marketing. Sir also has to his acclaim a Bachelor's of Arts in English Literature and a Bachelor's of Science in Environmental Sciences. Truly multidisciplinary, not just in academic, but also in the professional front. To elaborate on Sir's professional profile, he is a professional in flavors, fragrances, food, and beverage ingredients with an 18 plus years of experience in sales, business development, market setup, and account management. Sir has an in-depth experience of selling, promoting, and marketing customers' accounts in Europe, Indian subcontinent, South Asia, China, Australia, and New Zealand. A commercially focused team player and a leader with excellent communication, interpersonal skills. A seasoned manager, having been responsible for setting up legal entities in markets like Indonesia and Thailand and recruiting team members in these regions. Mr. Vaikar is a proud recipient of the highest recognition that is conferred upon by the Government of India on a non-resident Indian, the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award. Sir is also a skillful decision maker, self-directed, result-oriented, and a resourceful individual who possesses a strong hold on people management and leadership skills, both in the professional sphere and also within the social arena. Currently, Sir is a managing director at Dola Food and Beverage Ingredients Thailand Company Limited. He is in charge for developing and implementing strategies and policies for the Southeast Asian countries. It is an honor to have you with us today, sir. We look forward to your session. Thank you for gracing this conference with your presence. Over to you, sir.
Roger, this is wonderful. Can you hear me loud and clear, Roger?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
Then it is all Roger and all go, right?
Yeah,
perfect.
Yes, sir. Roger that. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Roger.
Yeah.
Dr. Parul, eminent dignitaries on the dais, eminent professors, deans, and head of the departments of this wonderful college. It's a pleasure मैं बहुत खुश हूँ आज आप सबसे रूबरू हूँ, आप सब लोगों से बात कर रहा हूँ. And I'm really excited because whenever I get a chance to connect with students, I don't miss that out. I feel that this award that you were mentioning about Pravasi Bharatiya Sanman Puraskar, I feel that that is one thing which the Indian government wants me to do, is to keep connecting with students. So here I am connecting with you, and students, I will try to make this as exciting a talk for you, because I know that in the afternoon listening to a person from Thailand is not the most exciting thing you want to do, right? But I'm going to try to make it exciting. I spent 12 years of my life in a very interesting country, which I think most of you know. Most of you probably have very different, diverse views about that country, and that country is China. And I've just recently moved from China to Thailand. Having done that, and let me also share my presentation with you so that we can just quickly go through it. I Dr. Parul, what I will also try to do is I want to leave your students with something very exciting so that they can actually pursue, and that can help them to pursue careers. Roger, you said about my wonderful journey in the world of flavors and fragrances. I see in the audience that there are lots of young woman, and therefore it's very important for me to talk to you about this field. I work for a company called Dola. Please go on Google and have a look at it. We are a very creative company. What do? We spoil you. We spoil the young generation. And how do we spoil you? By making the new flavors for Coke, for Pepsi, for ice creams, for wine coolers, by adding new different juices, by getting natural colors, by our cereal nuts and pulses portfolio, and a lot of that. You can see all of that. And we actually produce these in 47 different production sites around the world. Why do we need to have so many production sites? Well, because we cannot tell Mother Nature कि वो यहाँ पे ये ग्रो करे और वहां पे वो ग्रो करे. अब सिर्फ चाइना ही ऐसा देश है जो ऐसा कर सकता है. 25 years ago, China promised us that they would supply us as much of apples as we wanted. And I can tell you at that point of time, China was not producing a lot of apples. We invested, and today China is the largest producer of apple juice concentrate in the world. I come from Nagpur, and you can imagine this: the area, the size of Vidarbha, has been dedicated by the Chinese government, and every farmer there has been told to grow apples. And the farmers have been promised one thing: that don't worry, companies like Doler cannot cheat you. We will ensure that they give you the minimum price and even more than that. And we are assured of a supply. So they create these kind of win-win situations. And I'm not a proponent of China, right? I'm just telling you the facts the way they are. But this is what I do. Why am I mentioning about this? Because I feel that very few students, very few my young friends know about flavors, fragrances, this industry. The amazing thing is that this industry is now very, very strongly entrenched in India. Mumbai is actually one of the hubs for this flavor and fragrance industry. There are companies such as International Flavors and Fragrances, Jivodan, Simrise, and many, many more who are actually there. They have multiple manufacturing sites in country. और ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ हमारे import foreign companies ही है. There are wonderful Indian companies जो उनको टक्कर दे रही है. Companies such as SH Kelkar. I would be happy after this talk to actually speak to some of your professors and ensure that there is a dialogue, a connect between the flavor and fragrance industry and your esteemed institute. But for my young female listeners, this is a wonderful industry. You actually can be a fragrance evaluator. You can actually be a marketing person who's actually selling fragrances to soaps and detergents and shampoos, flavors to toothpaste and Coke and Pepsi. And these are all wonderful companies to work. I just wanted to leave this with you. What is changing? आपको पता है कि जब when we were growing up, and Dr. Parul, you would remember, our grandmothers used to tell us कि you are eating a lot of synthetic stuff and you should eat natural stuff. And guess what? 2023 United Nations has declared 2023 as year of the millets. अब millets नाम कितना amazingly fashionable लगता है ना? But millets is nothing but अपना good old jawar, which is abundantly growing in our country. So here is one thing, students, we will see a lot of millet-based innovation happening in India and happening in the world. So landscape कैसा change होने वाला है? From wheat and rice, people will actually now start eating more of jawar, bajra, all these kind of millet-based fruits, something that our grandmothers and grandfathers were doing, we somewhere lost the plot, and we are now getting back into that. What is very interesting and what is crucial for you to know, and because there will be lots of jobs created here, 65% of millet production in the world happens in India. So there will be a lot of new career opportunities in this whole plant-based grain, plant-based millets. There will be a lot of innovative products coming out. So students who are wanting to get into food science and food technologies should definitely keep that in mind. I always ensure that whenever I speak and connect with you students, I try to leave you with some interesting ideas. Chalo, enough of that. Now, this is what we do, right? We are, as you can see, we are all over the world, my company, because we are, for example, processing beautiful Totapuri mango and Alfonso mango in India, a white guava puree. We can all be proud that India is the largest supplier of white guava puree in the world. We actually produce a lot of that in southern part of India. We have oranges coming in from Brazil, but enough about that. What I wanted to talk to you, and I really would like to have some questions because this could be exciting for you, is how is the landscape changing in China? Because you know what it is, right? China mein jo badlav hota hai, the world gets affected. What is the best example of that? COVID. And I was there when COVID started in Wuhan. The topmost agenda. So when we talk about changing global landscape, we need to understand China, right? And here are a few pointers for you students and friends and of course teachers and professors. Political stability is the topmost thing for China. वो कुछ भी करेंगे, they will do anything that they can, they know they is in their powers to keep the political stability. And therefore a lot of the actions that they are doing, ये जो सारा muscle twisting चल रहा है ना, that is being done to show or to ensure that the man in Beijing is seen to be the topmost and the most powerful person internally. China has entered a new era of slow growth. Decrease हो रहा है उनका जो डिमांड था वो 10% से 6-7% पे आ रहा है. Of course, they're still the second largest economy in the world, but that is where the political stability is going to be crucial for China. आप सबको पता है, you've all heard that, but were you aware that the impact of these trade sanctions that US had imposed on China was pretty high. Huh? पहले 34 billion dollars का था, उसके बाद 200 billion dollars का ये हुआ है. So you know, let's not underestimate the impact or the slap that US has put on China. The big problem which I think China is going to face is the financial stability. And why? Because Chinese banks have already lended like record amount of money in loans in 2016, जब आपको याद होगा जब SARS हुआ था, और अब 2020 में जब COVID हुआ है. Take that and then take all the money that China has been putting into very interesting nations like Pakistan and all the other nations as part of their One Road, One Belt initiative. This is going to be the very, very critical thing that I think will be India's advantage and China's, let's say, disadvantage is they will definitely have issues with their financial stability. And I don't need to talk about environmental and health, but it is still a massive concern. But kya hota hai? Why does this China machine still keep going? You know, when we see the changing landscape in the world, we need to understand this. Why? Because there is a lot of government investment in R&D. You know, मैं 12 साल वहां पे था, and I used to love the way the government in China camouflages their cut copy paste mechanism. अगर कोई नई गाड़ी, मैं 15 साल पहले की बात कर रहा हूँ, BMW की कोई नई गाड़ी आती है तो it used to be completely stripped down the technology. और ये कौन करता था? Private players नहीं. This used to be the Chinese government, and they used to have beautiful names: Innovation Center, Global R&D Center. They were just trying to cut, copy, paste. But what is important and what is interesting for India or for our entrepreneurs and our government to know is that once that was done, that technology was actually offered and given to private entrepreneurs at no cost. That is how China was ensuring that they were. Now, you may say that this is wrong. China says that we don't care, right? But that's what China has been doing to keep the whole innovation funnel going on. और वहीं पे रुकते नहीं वो. Look at all those benefits that the Chinese government gives to Chinese industry. Now, don't worry. I've actually presented this and a much more detailed presentation multiple times to to the Indian government and have been very receptive. They have been very receptive because we need to understand. We don't need to copy them, but if we don't understand what these guys are doing, so how will we be able to compete with them? That is what they do. They give tax benefits, they do financial, and this in the changing landscape, my dear friends, China और भी ज़्यादा करेगा. They will try to protect their industry. They will try to, because industry is going out of China, and therefore they will definitely try to do that more and more. Last 30 years has seen establishment of the largest supply chain in the world in China. I've been witnessing that. But are you aware that there is hardly any competitive advantage in China for raw materials? Cost is going up like crazy. Cost of labor, cost of capital is going. Environmental cost is becoming. There is not enough core technologies. So there are lots of companies like ours who are now looking at, we call it China plus one strategy. So the world now, China will no longer remain the big manufacturing powerhouse. हम जब सोचते थे ना कि हम जब भी दिवाली होती थी तो हम ये सारे जो दीपमालाएं और दिए आते थे और हम चाइना पे व्हाट्सएप पे लग जाते थे. By the way, are you aware that this was being produced by our Indian friends who are based in China? There are cities like Yiwu and Shaoxing and Kachao जिसका आपने नाम भी नहीं सुना है, और हमारे भारतीय वहां पे चाइनीज मैन्युफैक्चरर्स से ये सारी दीपमालाएं और ये सब बनाते थे. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी दैट वी बीन एबल टू कन्विंस अ लॉट ऑफ दीज गाइज नाउ to invest and start making this in India. And that was one of the things that we were doing. But the thing is, China में अब वो competitive advantage रहा नहीं है जो पिछले 30 सालों से था. What you will see is a shift in the manufacturing power base from China into a lot of Southeast Asian countries, into India as well. And we are seeing that. What does the future look like for China? Shifting consumption, increased digital. There is a thing called as WeChat. हम WhatsApp यूज करते हैं, वो WeChat यूज करते हैं, हमारे यहाँ बैन हुआ है. But WeChat is a super app on which 97% of China is there. And everything I can buy, cars se leke, everything is happening on WeChat. And this will become even more and more digitalized. It's a new digitalized China. They are going global. They are moving from, I call it, imitation to innovation, and they are revitalizing their core. That is what they're doing. Friends, if you can pick one thing from this presentation, I just wanted to share this confidential part of China's Manufacturing 2025, because Dr. Parul said, Amit ji, tell us about what is happening in the world. How are things changing? This is what China will be focusing on in the next 3 to 5 years. Very interesting. They are not talking about steel manufacturing. They are not talking about cements. They are not talking about any manufacturing. Look at what they are talking about. They're talking about integrated circuits. They're talking about aerospace. They're talking about rail transportation. They're talking about numeric controls, new energy vehicles, new materials, biomedicine, power equipment. So where is that core industry going? कहाँ है steel? कहाँ है cement? कहाँ है furniture manufacturing? That is now moving to Southeast Asia. And we as a country now are trying to ensure that we actually try to get a large portion of that manufacturing base from China into our country. So one of the changing dynamics that you will see in the world in the next 2 to 3 years is the shift in the manufacturing base from China into a lot of Southeast Asian countries and also in India. I was just thinking about it in the morning and I just put some things. What is people's behavior in China changing? They have become very cautious, but they have an extremely high confidence in their government. वो माई बाप हम जिसको बोलते हैं ना, सरकार माई बाप, that is how Chinese people are. So if we feel that at some stage there will be a revolution and there will be a coup, I don't expect that to happen. The people are really confident about they are very compliant. एक बार पॉलिसी अनाउंस हो जाती है चाइना में, they are very very compliant about following that policy, but they are not investing as much as they used to. कोविड के बाद वो डरे हुए हैं. Everybody wants to retain cash, and they are also very very safety, and they've become very careful about what they do. But how does China see the world? And that's important for us to understand. They will of course continue their aggressive growing. China का जो word है, if you translate that into Chinese, it means the center of the world. China says कि 2000 साल पहले we were the center of the world, and now we want to regain that center of the world. Now, again, you don't have to discuss with me or debate with me कि ये ठीक है या गलत है. I'm just saying that this is what they are doing. So they will use their time effectively to gain technologies, to gain manufacturing competence on those 10 focus areas that I told you about. They are also building a lot of local brands, but I was trying to understand कि COVID के बाद, I was there and I tried to understand they are not apologetic. They don't feel that they need to apologize to the world for what has happened. Interesting. We can always debate what would India have done if खुदा ना करे ऐसा कुछ हमारे यहाँ होता तो, but they are not apologetic. And they have a very, very strong patriotic sentiment, which goes in a slightly different way than what patriotic sentiments are happening in India. Just a couple of points, and I want to actually leave some time for Q&A. When I was managing, and I'm managing ASEAN, as you said, last 2 years has seen a huge shift in my thought process. What I wanted to tell my young friends is that बहुत बार company culture के बारे में बोला जाता है ना, there is really no company culture. You, every individual, जैसे आपकी institution का है, yes, there is an institution culture, but individual professors, individual team of professors can really define what that culture is all about. What has also happened is that the way I see the world changing is that before COVID, we were not a very, very e-friendly company. And can you believe that in 8 months of COVID, जैसे NDTV का studio होता है ना, वैसा setup हमने अभी हमारे हर office में किया है. So when we interact with our customers, we are actually sitting with our suits on a typical NDTV studio kind of a mode, and customers are getting completely out with this whole change that Dollar has shown in our progress. We are a 180-year-old company. So I feel that there is more and more modernization is going to happen as we move forward in the thing. My request to the young students is, and again, मैं कोई advice नहीं दे रहा हूँ, I'm just telling you a few requests. As you get ahead in your career, please start connecting with industrial associations, with business bodies, with local governments. You never know what connections that would do. And if you can just promise me one thing, that when you have chance to even go into some other city in India to work, to live, to, please feel free and feel very connected with that place and give something back to that community. I feel that, what is important is by doing that, I have found a purpose which is much larger than me. And I wish that each one of you finds that same purpose. And last but not the least, when you talk about your own profile, you have to build it yourself. Nobody else will do that. With those words, I thank you once again for inviting me for this wonderful interaction. If there are any questions, I would love to answer them. Thank you so much. And as they say in Thailand, khap kun khap. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for actually having, first of all, giving us your time from your busy schedule, as well as I believe you have some personal engagements also. But actually, very much thank you. So that, because our kids, as well as all of us sitting around here, including all the delegates, would not have experienced, understood, realized the changing dynamics the way you have put it forward. Because your experience actually counts to it, and we are really happy to have you around here. Thank you so much, sir. And moving, what we'll be doing is we'll ask all the participants to eventually send us questions, and we'll forward those questions to you accordingly further, so that they'll be contacted accordingly. Would it do, sir?
Absolutely. And once again, I wish everybody a lot of success in their career ahead. If there's anything that I can help you with, I'll be more than happy to do that.
Sure, sir. We are actually looking forward for further collaborations with you in future. Our college will be in touch with you accordingly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.
Yeah. Aldo Gucci has vocalized that quality is remembered after price is forgotten. And to dwell into this understanding of quality parameter, we have our next speaker, Dr. Radhesham Pradhan. May I invite our Vice Principal Degree Commerce, Dr. Nishikant Jha, to introduce the speaker who will be talking about the concept of redefining international quality standards in business. Over to you, Nishikant, sir.
Thank you, Akash. Good afternoon, everyone. Being the Vice Principal of Commerce, First and foremost, it's my duty to congratulate entire Commerce Department for having such kind of wonderful e-conference in this pandemic season and presenting across globe today in Thakur College. And कुछ शब्द मैं कॉमर्स डिपार्टमेंट के लिए कहना चाहूँगा because it is an inception since last year and we are planning and finally today it is executed, partly executed, half part is yet to be done when we have parallel session after this break 2 onwards. So कॉमर्स डिपार्टमेंट के लिए ना थके हैं पाँव कभी, ना थके हैं पाँव कभी, ना हिम्मत हारी है, मैंने देखे हैं कई दौर, आज भी सफ़र जारी है और ये सफ़र जारी रहेगा आफ्टरनून में भी. Thank you ma'am for keeping such kind of association from two great institute educationists in India. First time we have having collaboration from NAC, ICSSR, because we have worked with them, we have done something with them, that's why they have associated with us. We are really thankful to them. And Thakur College के लिए मैं कुछ कहना चाहूँगा because it is 25th year of our college celebration, and whatever we are today, it is because of our respected principal ma'am and trustees who have given such a innovative place whereby we have lot of innovations and lot of progression for the learners, and that's why we have got recently from Government of Maharashtra also prize as a best college. मंजिलें खुद कदम चूमेंगी, मंजिलें खुद कदम चूमेंगी, रास्ता खुद बन जाएगा, मंजिलें खुद कदम चूमेंगी, रास्ता खुद बन जाएगा, हौसला कर तू बुलंद तो आसमां भी झुक जाएगा. सो ये सारी जो हमारी मैसेज है वो हमारे पूरे टीम के लिए है और हमारे जो अपने हैं प्रधान सर. माय एसोसिएशन विद प्रधान सर सिंस लास्ट अ डिकेड. वी हैव बीन इन डिफरेंट forum, in different conferences, in India, in abroad. And sir, आपके लिए मुझे पता है आपको हिंदी आती है थोड़ी थोड़ी. साथ नहीं रहने से रिश्ते नहीं टूटा करते, साथ नहीं रहने से रिश्ते नहीं टूटा करते, वक्त की धुन से लम्हे नहीं टूटा करते, वक्त की धुन से लम्हे नहीं टूटा करते, लोग कहते हैं मेरा सपना टूट गया, टूट नींद जाती है, आपके सपने नहीं टूटा करते. Now I welcome formally the international speaker Dr. Radheshyam Pradhan ji, who has been inspiration in entire Nepal, in Kathmandu particularly, because he has got more than 40 years, 4 decade experience in teaching, learning and evaluation. Right now sir is academic director of Unibog College of Pokhara University, affiliated in Nepal. Sir has completed many faculty development program from India, IIM India. Sir has completed his PhD from University of Delhi, India. Sir has delivered his session in USA, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Japan, and many places, Poland, in India as well. Sir has guided more than 2 dozen students in PhD in Nepal, in India. Thank you, sir, for guiding our Indian student. We know how you are assisting India in different time as per as academic is concerned. Sir has examined more than 4 dozen PhD and dissertation from India and Nepal University. Sir has written several books. Sir has presented many research papers. I had been to different conferences in India and many other countries. Such of the countries what sir has visited is Bangladesh, Bhutan, China, France, Germany, Hungary, India, Italy, Japan, Malaysia, Poland, Singapore, Thailand, UK and USA. And with such kind of busy schedule, sir has his PhD viva. Still he could able to manage for gracing this occasion. On behalf of entire Thakur College, sir, we welcome you for your deliberation for this particular International E-Conference. Over to you, Pradhan sir. Ram Ram sir. Sir, we are unable to hear you, sir.
Yes. Now it is okay.
Yes, sir, we are able to hear you. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Let me share my slide. Did you give the permission to me?
Yes, sir, it is given.
Okay. Are you able to see my slide? That's it.
It's visible, sir. Your slides are visible.
Visible. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Great.
sir.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this international conference organized by Thakur College of Science and Commerce. Please accept my hearty congratulations for organizing this kind of international conference. And it's my first time that I could be a part of this international conference, though you must have organized several international conferences in the past. So I really appreciate giving me this space in this international conference. Thank you, Dr. Parul Singhal, Dean and Head, Thakur College. Thank you, my friend, Dr. Nishikant Saha. I have already developed a special relationship with Dr. Nishikant Saha, which is like a relationship between assets and liabilities side of the balance sheet. The relationship which is more stronger than the relationship between husband and wife, because we have been hearing in news that a lot of divorces are taking place between husband and wife, but we have not been hearing the divorce occurring between the relationship between assets and liabilities side of the balance sheet. So now I am here to develop such kind of strong relationship with Thakur College, which all started with Dr. Nishikant, with whom I first met in Sangamner International Conference. Since then, I think I am able to develop a very good relationship with him. And I am not the student of history. I hope you are all also not the student of history, but I am creating a history and you are also creating a history. I am creating a history. I am out of Kathmandu and now in Midwest University, which is a 1 hour flight from Kathmandu, which lies in western part of the country. And this university was a very new university. And I am creating a history this side by producing the first PhD of this university in management. But there you are creating another history by organizing this international conference, which is so important. The topic given to me is redefining international quality standards in business. And I have been listening to some of the dignitaries in inaugural session. Very wonderful deliberations have been made. And then my viva started. I had to leave the hotel and I came to university. Then I really missed the deliberations by different distinguished personalities. But in any case, we are all creating a history, though we are not students of history. People say do or die. This side, what I am doing is, it's not do or die that is more important. It is do before you die. So I am very happy that we could produce. My student has become a PhD holder now. So this itself is a history, first PhD of this university in management. So how I am able to do it before I die? Sometimes I used to wonder if I die, what will happen to my student? But finally it is all done. So that side, you are also creating a history, doing something useful before you die. So what a great coincidence is this. So once again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And quality, international quality standard in business, I need not to throw much light on this. So quality standards provide requirements, specification, guidelines, or characteristics that can be used consistently to ensure the materials, products, processes, etc. Now, we also organize international conference in Kathmandu every year. I would like to invite you all to attend this international conference. Now, our forthcoming international conference is on April 6th and 7th, so please make a note of it. And I really appreciate if you could participate. And that's why I am showing some of these photographs so that they can attract you to visit Kathmandu. And we all understand that standards provide organizations with the shared vision, understanding, procedures, and vocabulary, because standards present precise descriptions. So they offer the basis for organizations and consumers around the world to communicate and conduct the business. And why organizations turn to standards to achieve objectives? Because it satisfies their customers' quality requirements, ensures products and services are safe, complying with regulation, meeting environmental objectives, protecting products against climatic or other adverse conditions, and so on. For businesses, standards are important to the bottom line of every organizations. Successful companies recognize standards as business tools, so we can use it as business tools. Therefore, it's so important. And standardization leads to lower costs of reducing redundancy, minimizing errors, and reducing time to the market. And we have been redefining international quality standards in business. So I have given in slide 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, and so on. And American Society for Quality has got nearly 80,000 members. So we have so many quality standards on quality management, auditing, environmental management, risk management, social responsibility, sampling by attributes, sampling by variables, food safety, and so on. So 21st century, but I am going to say that this is not enough. We still are not able to come up with quality standards in many of the industries, in many of the products, in many of the businesses. So we all need to work more on this subject, very important subject. The 21st century world of business never rests. The speed of flow of information has created global markets in which we all trade as consumers and as business people. So quality has become synonymous with control, compliance, and cost. So quality standards are still not available in many of the products and services, as I said. But if we are to meet the challenges of 21st century, then quality must play a wider role in businesses. So COVID-19 has been a wake-up call for business in all these issues. With this, I remain. So once again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. So my best wishes are all with you. So I would like to invite you all to attend our international conference scheduled for April 6 and 7. So thank you. With this, please allow me to leave unless you have something. Thank you. That's it. Now over to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for actually making time for the conference. It is indeed our pleasure to listen to you, and I think I can say it for all of us that we accept your invitation to come to Nepal and hope to see you around for the next conference around.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, to summarize the plenary session, I think it was an enlightening one where we started off with Mr. Kalia going forward, giving us an insight into innovation and entrepreneurship. His audiovisual presentation itself was a testimony of how he has been able to completely dissect the consumer-centric market and the changing landscape which needs to be done. I think one of the most important takeaway from that session was developing an indigenously driven ecosystem for promoting more innovation-based and entrepreneur-based businesses in future. The second session by Mr. Amit Vaikar was eventually highlighting the need to look at the markets today. And I think all of us would agree with me when I suggest this idea that the session was a complete indication of the changing markets with his understanding on geopolitics and geoeconomics in identifying the businesses and the nature of changing businesses. It was an enthralling one. Lastly, when you go forward and try to look at the takeaways from Dr. Pradhan's session, it was a session whereby we went forward to get a theoretical as well as a clinical understandings in determining what sets the quality parameters in a given business setup. On that very note, we come down to the end of the plenary sessions. To formally close this session, I would reciprocate a feeling which begins as a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. On this note, we thank everyone and we thank all you wonderful audience for staying with us. We hope that we have been equally good hosts to all of you. If you can access the chat box at this interval, the feedback link has been provided. The feedback would eventually stand as a testament of reforming quality standards for us for our future endeavors of this kind. Therefore, I request all the participants who have joined us from Zoom, YouTube, to kindly ensure the fact that you are going forward and filling in the feedback form. Lastly, we look forward for having your active participations in the technical session. I hope I've earned the privilege of your time. So this is Akash Deshmukh signing off from the inaugural as well as the plenary session of one-day international e-conference on innovation and sustainability, revitalizing business practices through quality assurance and inclusivity. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you later.